So my expectation is that there are really two areas upon which both President Trump and a Democratic House would agree on. And the first is infrastructure spending. So we could see material stocks do well in that scenario. And really the second is greater regulation of technology. So we could see a tech stock sell-off. I think that's why we've seen the behavior in techs in the month of October.
Specifically because of the expectations of the midterm, not just pulling back for other reasons, earnings or valuations?
Well, certainly valuations came under pressure as the 10-year went up, but I do believe part of the reaction in October was a result of growing acceptance that this would be the outcome of the election.
Hal, give us a brief overview of what's in the MAGA ETF and how it's going to do after the midterm elections.
Well, look, I'm a Trump economy bull. I mean, it's hard not to be. I mean, look at these job numbers. Look at the economy since it's come roaring back since he was elected. So I think the people are going to vote with their 401ks, and 401ks are up massively since he was elected. So I think ultimately we're going to look out and find that the economy is going to be one of the driving factors of this. And people can censor economic growth. They can censor people, but they can't censor their paychecks. They can't censor their 401k plans. Even the New York Times came out yesterday with downplaying a blue wave, and they were going to go with maybe a blue ripple. So I don't know that it's in the cards that the Democrats are going to take the House and the Republicans are going to only barely hold the Senate. I think the Republicans could hold the House, and I think they could pick up 3 seats in the Senate. So with that, I think the MAGA fund is well positioned. I think the fund itself is a great time to look at what's going on in the economy and take advantage of where we are from an economic cycle and Trump's policies.
Kristina, if Hal's right and we do see the Republicans hold on to both houses, what happens in the market?
Well, I would expect defense stocks to do well. I think we could see an increase in defense spending. But you could see insurers, hospitals sell off in this environment because the ACA is in jeopardy.
You know, aside from the results here and the sector-based effects as they might be, it seems to me the market is fixated on where are we in the business cycle and the liquidity cycle and monetary policy and things like that. Is there anything in the outcome and the makeup of Congress that really is going to alter that very much in terms of exactly, how and when this cycle might end?
Well, I don't think there's much that could happen that would alter it, because what we're likely to see is just improvement on the margins in terms of progress in any of the scenarios that we look at, with the exception of a Democratic sweep, which I think is very, very unlikely. Having said that, though, there is a little bit of upside potential with regards to trade. Keep in mind that trade has been weighing down not just stocks, but is starting to show an impact on the economy. We've seen it in earnings reports. And there's a glimmer of hope that if you had a Democratic House and a Republican Senate, they could join forces to try to claw back a little of the tariff powers that Congress has given away over the last eight decades to the executive branch.
So, Hal, as a so-called Trump economy bull, how do you reconcile the president's trade policies and this trade war he's fighting?
I think Trump's doing exactly the right thing with trade. I mean, look, China's been doing what they've been stealing IP. They've been taking advantage of companies and taking their IP and forcing them to sell off their companies to them. Look, Trump, I think, is actually going to probably let China twist in the wind a little longer out there. People are talking about a trade deal happening soon. I don't know that it's going to. But look, I don't think that's going to necessarily be a bad thing. There's a lot of manufacturing jobs that could be moved from China back to Mexico or Latin America, Honduras, Guatemala. I mean, that could help solve some of those problems down there. Everything doesn't have to be manufactured in China to work. So I think there's an underlying theme there that President Trump is simply not going to let China continue to do what they're doing when we have other options out there. And I think our economy is strong enough to handle this without having to disrupt things economically with a China problem.